something that I'm dealing with right now quite a lot, resistance to care. Okay, this is something that me and my friends and my audience, we battle all the time. I'm battling it, this morning. Like my mom's in rehab and she just doesn't want to be there, even though it's benefiting her. Why are seniors so resistant to care?
I think the first thing to remember here is, there's no right or wrong way to go about this when you're having this conversation with your loved one. But I think the mental block again goes back to that idea of a nursing home with a room, 2 beds, and a curtain in between. When in essence, that's not true at all. Assisted living, you still are able. I just had a conversation this morning. You're still able to be who you are. These places, again, they cater to the individual resident. They have so many wonderful activities and programs that it really becomes a matter of your particular loved one's needs and understanding what those needs are, understanding what makes them tick, what they love to do. If they say they love to crochet, let's talk about the crocheting classes that they have on site. They're not going to lose their independence.
What you do, and I think what's important for people like you and then us as caregivers, is to let them know that it is, quality of life, that they get to live their life and really explain that side of it to break through the resistance, right?
You got it. That's right. They're still people. They're going to be who they are, just in a place where people can care for them the way they need to be cared for.
So what are some tips you have to start that conversation to break through those barriers, those those fears that, our aging parents have?
Something that I always like to offer when I'm on the phone with families, when we're talking about communities, I try to explain when they ask me these questions, how do I get my mom to be open to this, to even discussing this? What I usually do and my advice is take them to lunch at these communities. The communities love to have you for lunch. Once they get inside and see the place and see that this is a beautiful place where they will thrive, believe you me, they will thrive. Instead of posing it as such a serious thing, try to make not necessarily light of it, but just say, hey, let's do something normal. Like, let's go have lunch with these people, because they won't know until they actually tour and see them firsthand. That will help immensely with their fears and their worries about the place. Once they see it, it will then make sense to them and they will be a lot less fearful.
So honesty, speaking from the heart, giving it a test run. Let's go check these places out.
Absolutely.
And I think I heard sort of the undercurrent there is let them feel like they're in control of their decision making.
100%.
That's something I'm battling against,
Yep.
We need to let them feel empowered.
Yes.
That they're going to make the ultimate choice. We're just showing them their options.
You got it.
So caregiver guilt, right? Is that something like we need to talk about that, right? Like that's something that definitely comes up. I question everything. Am I doing it right? Should I be doing this? Do I have their best interests? But when I say caregiver guilt, what comes to mind for you, Kelly, and what you're seeing in your clients?
The first thing that comes to mind when I think of, when I talk to families and they're expressing that, that guilt that they feel, we want to take care of our family, right? That's obviously, they're our family. We want to take that on because we love them. They're our loved ones. We want to take care of them. But in reality, what we don't realize is while it's great that we want to take care of them because we love them, we also need to stop for a second and assess the situation and go, could my loved one benefit better in a community that offers care for their specific needs, that would put that loved one around others that are, in the same situation? Would that make my loved one thrive, right? More so than me taking care of them, because in essence, sometimes in order to overcome that guilt, I always suggest to families, you've done your part. You can't be everybody. You're one person. You're one person.
What about tips for managing this guilt? Like, what do we as caregivers need to make sure we do so that we can best serve our aging loved ones?
Absolutely. I think support is big. There's nothing wrong with talking to somebody. I think the main thing to remember here, reach out and ask for help for yourself. That's tough dealing with, what you're going through. It's enough to take care of a loved one. But when you're dealing with the guilt and the feelings behind it, there's nothing wrong with reaching out and asking for help for yourself.
And that could be someone like you. It could also be maybe a therapist, right? A friend.
Absolutely. Somebody to support you. Somebody that has your back. Somebody that, will tell you the truth, right? but that will hold you accountable. Not saying that, that you haven't done a great job, but there comes a point where you have to be okay and you have done your part, and there's not much because you can't pour from an empty cup. And trust me, that cup will become very empty quick when we're trying to care for our loved one. It doesn't last long. And so do yourself, yourself and your loved one a favor and look into options where that community can take care of them, because these communities become like family. They really do. And you'll be amazed at how well your loved one will thrive. I see it happen all the time.
Those are really good tips. I like that, because instead of like that, come on, you're going to do what I say. It's just have grace, approach it softly, and them being a collaborator in this process, I think is really, again, something maybe I haven't been so good at doing. So I really appreciate that.
Of course.